Arthur, lovely to see you this evening. Thank you so much for coming to talk to us and to let people know a little bit more about your sport. And funnily enough, fencing is one of the sports, of all of the sports that we support, I haven't actually seen in real life. I've seen it on YouTube and I've seen how fast and frenetic it is. And I even have to stop the video, the YouTube, to actually watch the points again because it's so ridiculously fast. But tell us a little bit more about it. There are 3 types of fencing, aren't there? Tell us which one you do and a little bit more about the sport.
Yeah, so there are 3 different types. There's foil, épée, and sabre. I fence épée, which has the simplest rules out of the 3 weapons. You're able to touch. A touch is basically a hit. You can hit them anywhere on the body, head to toe, arm. You can hit them on the back as long as your head is not backwards to your opponent. And whoever hits the other person without getting hit themselves gets the point. If you both hit at the same time, you both get a point. And that's called a double. However, doubles you don't normally see, or they're a lot rarer, is because you've got to hit within 40 milliseconds of each other to both get a double hit. So it's a lot rarer to both get a hit. And that's normally why people shy away from watching fencing online or watching it in real life, because they just can't follow it, and they just it's hard to keep up with what's going on because there's a flashing light. You don't know what's going on. But but the main reason I really enjoy fencing is because no one has the same style as each other. No 2 styles are the same. So every time you fence, it's a completely different encounter from the last time you fenced. Every time you get on the piste, which is the metal strip that we fence on, you don't know what they're going to fence like. You only have the experience of all the other different fences you've fenced before. Right. Makes it a new experience every time, which normally why I've never been bored of fencing. It's a new experience. I see. Also, the intensity within fencing, I just find really exhilarating, and it's just really fun for me. If you walk into like a fencing hall, a fencing competition, the first thing you'll notice is just the screaming and the shouting, and the blades sort of just clanging together, and referees shouting, and it's just such a commotion all at the same time. It's just really, I just love it personally. Sometimes hard to focus in, but everyone's in the same boat in that fencing hall. So whoever can get over that is it's going to be on top. Yes. And it's just the pace of it. It can be really slow for a minute, and the person you're fencing can be not doing much, just sussing out each other. Then all of a sudden, there's one person attacking, one person saw the opportunity to attack and launched off. And it's just a change in pace that just keeps the matches so interesting and really fun.
Go on, sorry.
I know. It just makes the sport really exciting for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, hugely exciting. I can see that. And when you talk about a match, how long does a match last for?
So the longer matches, which are the direct eliminations, go on for about 9 minutes maximum, with 2 1-minute breaks in between 3-minute intervals. So you'll have 3 minutes of fencing, then a 1-minute break, and then so on and so forth. Yeah. So which I think is good. At the end of 3 minutes, you'll definitely want a break. It's really nice having a 1-minute break for a little second. It can work in your favour, and it can work against, because if you're fencing really well, you don't want that to stop. You're really sussing out your opponent, and then the referee says, okay, everyone take a break for a minute. You can really lose your momentum, you can lose your focus. Yeah. And I've had matches I've been winning, had a minute break, and then gone back and I've lost because my mind's just gone elsewhere, thinking about maybe the next round, because I would have gone through, and it's just really easy to lose your momentum. Yeah. So some fences like the break, some fences don't. Just depends really. Yeah.
Okay, well, you've touched on 2 things that I specifically wanted to talk to you about, actually. So one was the fitness, the mental, the physical fitness. It's so agile, and you have to be so fit to do those short, sharp matches and the intensity. So tell us a bit about how you maintain your fitness and how you manage that.
Well, in a normal scenario, in a normal week of life, I would be going to the gym every day after school, and I'll be fencing at Bath University twice a week. because that's the maximum amount of times I can do it.
Yeah.
And at the gym, most fencers really just focus on their legs. The thighs, core is because they are the most essential for your stability on the piste. Like if you're overcompensating lunges and you're falling short of your opponent, it's your core strength that's going to make sure you get back up in time and escape them. Which means you're being able to outpace your opponent. Probably the most important element of fencing is if you're able to outpace them, which is where the higher level of fitness comes in. It's a lot more training on the lower body rather than the upper body for just the fast leg movement and your stronger power to lunge and push off.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we're not in normal times, so my fitness routines are consisting of more home workouts now. I really have taken up HIIT workouts, like high intensity workouts.
Yes.
Because that is what you're being advised by the British Fencing to do. It's probably the best way of training, because high intensity is you're replicating the best scenario of what you'll find when you're fencing.
Yes.
Because you have a break, you'll get back to your on guard lines, and then you'll fence really, really intensely for about 20 seconds, 30 seconds.
Yes.
And then again and again. So those I'm really incorporating to my workouts as the HIIT, high intensity.
Yeah.
But along the same lines, endurance training is also really important. Okay. Because a match can last for 9 minutes in total, and if you're fencing all during the day, the competitions take all day long, and so keeping up with having the endurance as well as being able to go really intensely for a couple of minutes is you really got to find that balance.
So for endurance, what do you do?
Cheers. Well, recently I've been taking up because I've had a lot more time in lockdown, a lot of running. To really my endurance. It was last Sunday I completed my first half marathon, which I was happy with.
Well done.
Because I couldn't say I run too much before lockdown, but because I have a lot more time to do so, I thought, it's a way to increase my endurance, and I do enjoy it. So that's something I'm doing at the moment to just increasing my endurance. But yeah.
Good. Sounds great. On the other side of the fitness or the agility, what about the mental side of it? The mental agility, you've got these opponents that you need to work out. They've obviously got different styles. How do you go about the mental side of the game?
Well, it's really important that with your mental skill that you will be able to maintain it over the long period, because the competitions will last all day. They'll start at like 8:30 in the morning, and then the finals can finish at 9 in the evening.
Yeah.
So like learning to keep an agile mind all day is tricky to implement, but you can get it. Like in Poland, like the wedding ceremony back in 2018, was at 10:30 in the evening was the time they finally got around to giving out the medals.
Wow.
We got into the hall at 9 in the morning. So you really separate the fencers who have worked on their mental ability compared to the ones that pay more attention to the fitness.
Yes.
And this really shows that, like in every sport, really, your mental fitness is just as important as your physical fitness. And it's really lucky that through the DICE program, we're given a free subscription to something called the Belief program. Yeah. It's linked to something called the Performance Room. That's all to do with sport courses. And so there's lots of stuff on there that help us. A lot of mental fitness courses and little professionals guiding their professional athletes about their mental fitness. So it's really good to sort of learn from the best in all different sports, not just fencing, because it all applies pretty synoptically through all the different sports.
Yeah, definitely. So are there any particular strategies that you use to refocus yourself if you're going a little bit off, if you're not quite focused, or you lose a bit of attention, or you've got to visualize, or you've got to play music? What strategies do you use?
I do a lot of breathing exercises actually. The first time I got sort of exposed to them was in Plymouth about a couple of years ago. There was a training camp down there, and Plymouth had the best Italian fencers coming over to their club, I think there's a connection there between Plymouth and Italy.
Okay.
But they get the best fencers over, and a lot of them really focus on their breathing techniques, especially after a bad match, if they're disappointed. Just simple techniques to just keep your mind on other things, maybe, or just to calm you down. So ever since I got told about different exercises, I've sort of been doing them after every match. Every match that I was disappointed in or lost, or even if I won and I didn't fence that well, the breathing exercises definitely help a lot, just calming the body down. So that's something I definitely work on. But yeah, it's keeping the mental agility is definitely the most important bit of it.
Yeah.
Because you could be a really fast, quick fencer, but if I'm smart and I'm just doing something just before you're doing it, or I figured you out early, then the physical ability is pretty diminished compared to if someone's got a cleaner mindset than you.
Yeah. I do think it plays a huge part in every sport, doesn't it? Absolutely every sport. I mean, I can picture you standing next to Eddie the Eagle, our patron, and he was the one who said that his sport was 95, if not more, percent mental and physical, having the courage to leap off those ridiculously high ski jumps.
Yeah.
But also the mental ability to get through the hard training sessions. So it applies to the training as well as the actual competitions and matches as well.
Definitely, it's the long-term approach you have to it. It's every training session counts. But if you're in a session, you're thinking, it's about a month to my next competition. But you always got to have in mind that every session does count.
Definitely go into it with that real good intent and purpose.
Yeah, definitely.
Good stuff. Okay, so we've touched a little bit about this. Lockdown is crazy. We can't do the training we want to do. So how are you dealing with not going to Bath for your sessions, and how are you keeping yourself motivated?
I'm just setting other goals for me. I know if I'm just thinking about the next competition, which will be a while to come, that I'm not going to be able to keep motivated. So it's setting other goals, like, for example, like setting myself the goal of doing the half marathon. I was like, I want to sort of achieve that, because it's something I can do from my house. I can always go on a run. Lockdown's never going to stop that. And it's with this diploma as well, having it in the back of my mind, thinking it's just something to complete that I can do within my house. So it's just finding new things to work on that I didn't work on before, which means I'm just getting a more holistic approach to sort of training. And as I come out of lockdown, I want to come out with a lot more than I went in with, just skills wise and stuff to work on, really. So that's definitely something I'm thinking about. But it is providing an extraordinary challenge to all athletes, really. And you can definitely tell some people find it harder than others, especially the mental side. Just keeping up with the mentality of, wow, I almost fasted properly in a year. You've got to think about the future and think, wow, I missed a year of fencing. It's very hard. It's very easy for a lot of athletes to think that that's probably the end of their run, as it were.
It's unfortunate, really unfortunate for the athletes who are kind of at the top of the juniors, and it's kind of like their last year of being a junior or their penultimate year, and they're missing out on that final stage. Maybe if they're younger, so for our younger athletes, 12, 13, 14-year-olds, it's not quite so bad. Actually, sometimes that sort of break from their sport at that age can do their bodies some good, and they can rest and recover and come back even stronger. But it sounds like you're going to come back stronger too, with you're doing so many good things, controlling what you can control, focusing on the stuff that you can really work on, and like you say, doing some stuff that you wouldn't have done before. You wouldn't have run a half marathon before and had that extra level of base fitness that is going to carry you forward for when the competitions start, hopefully around time, maybe.
I would really hope so. There's been no indication that we have any upcoming competitions, but it's fingers crossed all over. And everybody involved in fencing, wants to have a competition. Everybody wants it to happen. But it all just depends, really.
If they start at Easter, what is the plan? I mean, what would be on the calendar if they start up?
Easter's not normally a time where you have many competitions. We at the moment, it's all the regional championships. Okay. So right about now, January, February time, I'd be working towards the Southwest Championships. Yeah. That would eventually lead on to the British Championships later in the year. Yeah. So it's I'd be focusing on more of a regional scale, figuring out who from here down to maybe Truro, I'd have it in a match. So I'd be thinking a lot more locally in terms of my competition. So that's definitely something that'd be in my head right now. But in terms of Easter, there's always many competitions everywhere, but there's nothing huge. So it's a shame we've just sort of come out of the bracket of autumn being the most competitive season. Right. So I think everyone's gone a bit, we've got to wait all the way till September to definitely have a big old national championships, a big competition.
Yeah. I feel for you. We're the same. I'm a marathon runner and they're all cancelled. They're normally in the spring or the autumn, so all the spring ones are piling up now. So we've all got like 5 marathons we need to run all in September and October. Yeah. Which is obviously not going to happen. Oh, lovely to talk to you, Arthur, and we will catch up again soon. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Thank you.